We're back, Brooke and the Bell, to talk about everything you've been talking about. Let you know, like how we're feeling, what we're fighting about in our text messages to each other. There's not much like disagreement going on these days. Everything has just been all bad. It's like easy to agree on, right?
I feel like we haven't really disagreed on anything. We've been lately. We've been on the same
not in a
side.
while.
Post Insecure.
Right. Once you get Lawrence out of the way, it's just smooth sailing.
Exactly. We've been smooth sailing. We had a little NoName hiccup, NoName J. Cole hiccup.
We did.
Although I do feel like you're coming on my side a little bit when it comes to NoName. Just a little bit.
No. I still stand where I stand on that specific issue.
Okay.
Okay.
For those who don't know who we're talking about, NoName, J. Cole had a beef. NoName's been running around slandering Beyonce whenever she gets the chance.
I mean, relax. I'm a proud Beyonce fan, a super fan. I think what it is that like Beyonce does so much good for us, right? And then on top of that, like she makes us feel really good and really proud. And it's nice to see that the biggest music superstar is a Black woman and a proud Black woman. And she's proud of her culture and where she's from and who she is. And she is the ultimate, the best, right? But it's okay, I think, when people want to criticize. Like, doesn't mean that she's above criticism. And I think that Beyonce would be like one of the people that is like supportive of that, right? There was a lot of talk about capitalism and how Black is King was so capitalism heavy, right? And I understand that. I understand the criticism. It also was about like a royal animal family, so it was kind of like on theme. But then there were a lot of people who had total separate criticisms about the continent of Africa. And I'm not African. So I almost feel like it's not my place, and maybe that things that I don't catch are because I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, from what I saw, they was dragging NoName because they people from the continent, people who are also in America and all over the globe, were saying, listen, that's representation. We want positive reinforcement, positive representation. You are not one of us. Don't get it twisted. And the reason why I'm like, all right, come on. Y'all gonna come to my side soon is because
he was still wrong about that.
No, I don't think so. I hope I'm gonna tell people what I told you in the text. I hope he disses her again at this point.
Oh, relax.
I hope he slanders her again because
relax.
Everyone was saying like, listen, why would you come after a Black woman? But all NoName has been doing has been coming after Black women. Maybe she's not the person.
How? When?
Listen, she's been liking tweets that with people saying we need to get Beyonce out of here. Like she's been slandering. And the funny thing about that is, when it comes to capitalism, if you want to prove your point, there's plenty of white women that you could bring up all the time.
Understood, right?
But you choose to go after the Black sister on top.
I struggle with finding anything wrong with Beyonce. And just kind of like how you pointed out how I feel about Issa Rae affects my ability to criticize the character Issa D. I mean, I know I'm there with Beyonce. So I just try to just know that I am not capable.
I know.
Be fair that way. And it's like, maybe it's something that I can't see because I just think she's perfect.
No, you're fine. You just don't want to slander. You just don't want to slander NoName. Okay? And I respect it. I respect it.
I don't want to slander. I don't want to slander anybody. I just
listen, a lot of benefits of the doubts right now you give it. It's okay.
I just don't really agree with like much criticism about Beyonce, period. I haven't seen Beyonce do anything wrong since like I found out about Beyonce. So there's that. And then But I also don't think that just because I think she's the greatest, that she's above all criticism, just because I can't scrape any up within my own brain,
No, but it's not
doesn't
that.
mean that somebody else may be able to.
It's outside.
May
It's
not be, or
outside of
maybe.
that. It's someone's willingness to slander, whether it's Beyonce or not, slam other black women, slam under other black men, slam a lot of things that it's over the top. One of these days, not today, we're gonna have a conversation about toxic woke people. Okay, one of these days we're gonna have a full conversation about people who claim to be woke, people who are woke in some ways, but do it in a very toxic manner.
Okay.
We're gonna have that conversation.
Okay.
You know, whether it's
One of these
NoName,
days.
whether it's Dr. Umar, whether it's one of these
my
other
God, he
individuals.
is not woke. Stop it. He is just not. He is not. Woke.
I mean, he claims to be woke, but we see through it. All I'm saying is, there's a lot of people in that jar that we don't want to talk about in public because we want to support each other in public. That are like, throw them to the side. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You'll come around on NoName. She'll do something in a couple days. She'll do something in a couple days. I'll wait for it, and I'll text you. I'll text you. It's all right.
What's next? What's next?
Exactly. To more toxic, woke, unwoke, bad behavior is John Leguizamo. Basically sent out a tweet. Now, this surrounds the Emmys. Am I correct? The Emmys came out. There were a lot of black representation, first and foremost. Shout out to Insecure. Shout out to everybody on that set. Shout out to Prentice, a homie, getting nominations, a lot of nominations, and hopefully awards.
I know. I hope a lot of wins too.
Yes. Mr. Penny, listen, thank you.
It's a great show. Hello.
Great show. And all across the board, there were a lot of nominations for black people.
Yes.
There were not a lot of nominations for Latinas. And that had John Leguizamo speak out about how there wasn't enough representation. But I think the problem was, and I don't have the exact tweet, but I'm quoting, excuse me if I fudge some words around, but this is the sentiment, is that there needs to be support to have proper Latino representation, and that black people need to sort of step in and help. That's what I gathered from the tweets. And Dasha Polanco from Orange is the New Black also jumped in saying the same thing and backing Leguizamo up and saying that black people need to help Latinos out with that struggle. Now, everything else behind
her tweet was really weird, and I'm paraphrasing, but her tweet was saying they only care about diversity when it includes them. And then later she was kind of backtracking a little bit, saying that they wasn't black people, it was the decision makers, which would be mostly then white Americans who wouldn't be in what you would consider like diversity. So her response when she started getting the backlash didn't make sense.
I didn't take it. I took it as sort of the first explanation of, listen, people only care about diversity until they get theirs. And then once they get theirs, they don't care about if other groups who
right, so who is they? That would be black Americans then, right?
Yeah, but I was, in that case, yes. But I was saying specific to any minority culture only cares about their minority group. And once their group gets theirs, they don't care if other groups come along. You see what I'm saying? Like, long as we get ours, like if I am,
which I think
if I am a woman, I only
criticism.
care if women get theirs. If I'm black, I only care if black gets theirs. If I'm in the LGBTQ community, I only care if we get ours. You know what I mean? It was sort of
and I think that's an unfair criticism, period. I think that it's more of like this idea that the gatekeepers to the industry don't have to bear the brunt of any of this. It's another marginalized community. And also I think which is flawed, what's most disappointing about everything is the fact that Latin American stories do need to be told more. There does need to be much more representation. That needs to be something that all of us care about and all of us are fighting about, and stuff that we all want to see, right? And that conversation got overshadowed because John Leguizamo kind of screenshotted the headline of an LA Times article, which almost pit two cultures as if they're mutually exclusive. And so then everything, and that's what he kind of responded to. Like, I think the headline, again, I'm paraphrasing, but I could look it up. The headline was like, Black representation soars, Latin American representation not so much. And again, I'm paraphrasing, but the problem with that is that Black and Latin American culture for a lot of human beings intersects. There are a lot. Jarrell Jerome won for When They See Us last year. I cried seeing that. He's a proud Dominican man, because just because you're Black doesn't mean that you're not also Latin American. And I think the issue was the headline of the article. And then the conversation that I think John Leguizamo started is important. Just like I said, like, we need to, like, of course there still needs to be more, of course, like all of these stories still need to be told, because we're still living in this space where white people are deemed the default America. And I think a lot of people were picking up on the headline and then reading into, I guess, not able to separate his comments from that headline. And that headline offered two cultures as if they never intersect. And so then it became this conversation of like pitting Black people and Latin American people against each other. Some Black people are Latin American people, and it just becomes a mess. And I just don't see any, I can't imagine like any valid way that one marginalized community is holding another back, regardless of what one achieves, especially the fact that they intersect. But also, they're not the gatekeepers. Nobody is. And so, like, it seems weird for anybody to blame a lack of Latin American representation on another marginalized group. But it also seems weird to shut down a conversation and not be willing to hear out a conversation about a lack of Latin American representation.
Well, I think a lot of the flaming was the fact that they felt like in the Latin community that, and I saw this conversation a lot via Twitter, and I had some of these conversations afterwards with friends in regards to, like you were saying, intersecting, but they were saying, well, listen, a lot of Latins don't consider themselves Black, right? Like Afro-Latinx and all those terms are somewhat new terms, but a lot of you only consider yourself part of the Black culture when it's convenient, right? So
I think absolutely, like, Latinx is a newer term, which is supposed to be very gender neutral, right?
Yes.
All inclusive. But Afro-Latina is not new whatsoever, or like it's
no, but in regards to Daisha, especially, of being proud of it, of now acclaiming it, and because, you know, the Latin community for a long time didn't consider themselves Black, even the ones with darker skin, right? And they considered themselves, I'm not saying all, but that was that's a problem.
That's an issue.
That's an issue in the community. Okay. It's just like, we don't want to be Black. We're not Black, even though you have dark skin, right? No, you are Black, right? Like you look at your skin color. You are us, but you speak a different language. And a lot of that was, Daisha, why can't you just be happy for African Americans and not say they this, they that? You're not happy for us because you don't consider us to be you don't consider yourself to be one of us. So don't come for us. Don't come for us and tell us that we need to do this, to do that. Why can't we be happy for the achievements we had on the day that we received them? So I think that was a lot of the back and forth and the conversations and the arguments. And it sort of became, like you said, split, you know, Latin versus Black. And do you consider yourself Black? And are you repping for our community? But I think she's true a little bit in regards to, I think a lot of people only care if their community gets theirs.
I
I
see,
think,
but that's the problem with that is that a lot of Black people are also Latin American. They don't get to choose between which community, just like I'm Black and a woman, and I care when there's gender
but
diversity. I
that's not what
also
they're talking
care.
about. They're saying, hey, Black people who are just Black, not Latin, are just happy that they have theirs, but don't care about the struggles of the Latin community.
Which I think is
That's what I think
absolute
they were trying to say.
ridiculousness. Because I think that Lupita Nyong'o is one of everybody's favorite actresses. She's Mexican, she's
Mhm.
African. I think that that's unfair. I think that obviously,
I
like
think there's a lot of truth
every
to that.
community, I see. I don't, and I think that there's not, just because like you would have to specifically separate out people who are just African American, Black, non-Hispanic, not Latin American, and it's just that's ridiculous. I don't think we have absolutely been cheering on Black Latin Americans. We
Who's we?
absolutely have been.
Who's
The
we?
Black community.
But I think you're speaking for there's a large group of people who only cares about theirs and anything in life. So I wouldn't
Right. I
say
mean,
the
they
Black
also say
community.
things that are
It's
like
it's about
anti-Semitic, and
me.
we did that last week. Yeah, for sure. Those
It's
people are
about
the
me.
problem.
It's about what I can get. So I think there's some truth to that. Like, I think what Daisha was saying, and she was probably the wrong person to say it, because I think she got more flack than John Leguizamo. And I'm unaware of Daisha's history. I was told that she has a history of sort of not claiming she's Black and only claiming it when it was convenient. And I think your history and who says it means a lot. You have to sort of have a clean history in this thing if you were to want to speak up and have people listen to you. But I think it would be okay if someone says, yo, Black community, I'm with you, I'm part of you, we need your help here. I just think because she said it and the way she said it, that was a problem. But I think it's okay to be like, yo, if she said it like, yo, congratulations to all the people who are Black and all the nominations this year, but people who are Black and also Latino are still getting discriminated against. So help us fight and do what we need to do. If she would have said it that way, or John would have said it that way, I don't think there's an issue, which I think there's some truth to that.
I think the issue is people read it as, hey, we want you to now fight for non-Black Latin American people.
See, I didn't read it like that, or I didn't see that critique.
That's kind of what I saw like underneath it, because yeah, I don't know. It's like text messages from strangers, essentially. Like I think words do mean things. I think a lot of words have very clear definitions, and people like to like twist them around. But I don't know what either of them were doing or saying, but I think the fact of the matter is there does need to be more Latin American representation in Hollywood, period. Stories, people, all across the board. Also, a lot of Black people are also Latin American. That's important to note. I don't
And they
I
got to
don't know.
claim it.
It's
And they got to claim it.
I mean, look, do what you want to do with your own identity. We will be here when you get here.
I don't know if I'll be there when they get here, but
I mean,
it's nice that somebody will be. Ellen is going through Ellen things. It's you're hearing about all types of workplace issues. Quick
yes.
thoughts.
Wow. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. A lot of bad rumors. I think today, a couple things happened that people are like rightfully like being like, whoa, 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 whoa. I saw like a statement from Kevin Hart, a statement from Katy Perry, both basically saying like, I've heard these allegations, but I know Ellen. And to me, she's never done anything like this. And here's the thing. Sure, it's very possible that these things are all lies. Sure. It's also absolutely ridiculous to think that how one treats a celebrity has anything to do with how one treats an intern.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's kind of silly. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like saying he's my husband, so I know he would never, which is kind of like maybe. I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He likes you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but like, um, yeah, who would know? This has been, I mean, it's been like ongoing, these like rumors and allegations, investigations. Um, I feel like for a couple years now, like Twitter threads and articles. But I just do always find it funny when like celebrities almost like say that I don't know, it's always really weird. It's also like, do you remember when Gabrielle Union was talking about her issues, her workplace issues, and then I think it was like Heidi Klum who was like, this has never happened to me. I
Yeah.
okay. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. It's like, shut up.
not
Of course.
saying that it's just like, okay, that
It's
doesn't have
like,
anything
yeah.
to do with what she's saying or because like,
Yeah, it's completely shut up. I know Ellen's not going to treat you like that, obviously. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
you're
you
Katy
saying, you
Perry,
coming out
right?
means nothing. I will say this, and
It doesn't mean anything.
I'm going to tell you what I think of what's
Okay.
going on. And I do, no names, but know or have had some contact with someone who works at Ellen.
Oh, I love this.
I think, from what I hear, Ellen is the type. Now, when it comes to whatever misogyny or racism is going on, like, from what I heard, that's not with Ellen. Like, there's things going on under her umbrella. And I think Ellen is the type, from what I'm told,
Mm-hmm.
she ain't talking to y'all. She ain't talking to the intern. She come in, do her job, talk to who she absolutely need to, and she's out. Right? Like, she's not the person that's going to come in the office and be nice and kiki with people.
Which
Now,
doesn't match her outward brand. That's
yes,
fascinating.
yes,
Right. Okay.
but she's not, some of the mean things. She's not doing that, from what I know.
Okay.
And she's not doing those things, and I don't think those articles really claim her to do those things. It's a lot of what's going on just under her umbrella. But she's also the type that I feel like, like, I don't know if sexism is happening because I'm not around. Like, and no one's going to come to me, and I don't want to hear from you either. Like, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? It's just like, I'm coming. It's one of those things. I remember Steve Harvey in Family Feud, and one time it came out, or maybe it was his talk show, of he had a note on the door basically giving them rules. Like,
Right. Yeah, I remember
don't
this.
come in here and talk to me. Don't yada yada yada. Like, when I'm walking down a hall, walk past, like, that type of stuff. I think
Didn't
Ellen.
he say like yes?
He said yeah.
That is the rule?
Yeah, he coached. He's like, yeah, that's me. That's right. I
Which
mean it.
is, listen, dehumanizing if you're one of those like lowly people down at the bottom of the hierarchy. But also, that's kind of how, I don't think he's ever like said that he behaves like any other way or that like he wants to be your friend. I think so. I mean, it was almost, that's why it was kind of funny, like that he doesn't want to be friends with anybody that, he doesn't want to talk. It was funny because it was like, well, that's kind of what you expect, because
and from what I hear, that's the time that Ellen is on.
And I've met Steve, and he's very, very kind, but I don't think he's ever like, I don't know. I love that he was like, oh yeah, I don't want to be talked to.
Yeah, because he was saying, and some of these people can try to talk your ear off and try to get certain things out of you, and you're just like, yo.
Basically, like, he doesn't want you coming into his office trying to sell CDs out of your trunk.
Yeah, like, listen, I'm here to do a job. So from what I understand, Ellen isn't conversing with folks. It's just like, yo, I'm coming here, I'm doing my thing, I'm out. So if there's any issues that you need to deal with HR, like, Ellen ain't gonna be the one to clean things up.
You know what's so funny about this conversation is that, like, a lot of bosses who claim to have an open door policy do not.
Yeah. I mean, that's everywhere. I feel like there's no open door policy at 95% of places. Like, And even if you did have an issue, don't go to Ellen. You better find somebody else to go to. So I think
I had a
from
boss
that's what I
in
hear.
Memphis.
She's on that time.
I
Like
had a boss
she's
in
not trying to
Memphis,
talk to y'all.
Ken Job, right? The nicest man ever. And he is a boss that he absolutely has a total open door policy, right? Like you could come to him, you could talk to him about anything, any issue you had, anything you needed, anything you were happy about. Like his door was literally always open. You could walk in, you could sit down, you could shut it if you needed to have a private conversation. And I imagine that he was perpetually tired.
Yeah. See the
Just
places
mentally drained. I think that like his open door policy was so real that he was probably just tired all the time because he was always willing to like actively listen.
Yeah,
But that's few and far between, like
yeah.
having like,
I mean, so
bosses
the
like
places
that.
I work for will let you say something for real quick, but ain't nothing gonna get done. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could come in and talk for me for a second, only 5 minutes, but ain't nothing gonna come from that conversation.
He would get stuff done.
Yeah,
And
see?
that has to be really hard to do on top of but I think he also considered that his job. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of, big bosses don't.
Yeah. So I think I from what you hear, Ellen has a disgusting type of workplace. And I'm not trying to shoot Ellen bail, but from what I'm told and what I heard for actually a couple people, it's just yeah, like I'm not the one who's going to set the workplace environment. I'm not the one who's going to tell you, and I'm not the one who's going to clean it up. I'm not going to set the environment. I'm gonna come do my thing because I'm a huge celebrity and I'm out.
So a question, do you truly believe that the boss of it all can have absolutely no idea that their work environment is hostile and toxic? They can just have no idea. Do you think that that's feasible?
It's tough because I think to an extent you know something, right? I don't think they know how much, but I'm also not the superstar at the most superstar level. And superstars at that level have often shown to be clueless about regular people life in general. So, I think they have to know something, but at the same time, past history has shown me that some of these people way up there have no clue what these little minions down here, like us, well, not Brooke, me, are thinking
fix
about.
it.
So
Fix it.
I got you.
No, yeah, I don't know. I've never experienced like bad behavior that wasn't like actively being ignored.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, like, it's talent.
But also, right, I've never worked for a massive celebrity who's, shows up, goes, does this and then bounces.
But she's not the boss though. I don't look at her as the boss. Like she's just
she is,
like
though.
I don't look at it that way. I look at it as
if you worked there, you would. Her name is on everything.
Let me explain to you what I'm saying. She's
not the day-to-day supervisor.
She is the Will Smith, Denzel. She is the A-list superstar actor who gets whatever they want, drives the boat when it comes to celebrities, right?
Okay.
But when it comes to what's going on with the sound guy and what needs to change here, when it comes to the writer having an issue with something the director is doing, they don't know none of that, and they not fixing none of that. I'm not the boss. You don't go to me for anything. Like it's almost like the talent in a certain news reporter or anchor who's the number one anchor. Like they're not the boss, but that's the person who gets what they want and is the superstar. Like you don't come with me with any issues. You know what I mean? Like you're below me. You don't come to me about issues, about nothing. I'm just a superstar. If I want someone fired, I can get them fired. But I'm just a superstar that can do what I want, demand what I want, and I come to show and play. That's it. But don't come. I'm not the person you're gonna go where it comes to management and you're gonna talk to me about an issue. F out my face.
Yeah.
That's the boss. That's the news director. That's the boss. That's the director of the film. That's the whoever's putting money in the film. That's their job. I'm just here to show this superstar face.
Okay.
It's just,
I mean, we'll see what happens. This has been, I mean, again, I've said before, like nothing surprises me, but this has been fascinating, right?
yeah. All right. I mean, we argue. We started off saying we never argue, and we argued throughout the show.
I know, and we always end up arguing over stuff that we don't really care about.
Right? Like, at the end of the day, I'm like, whatever.
You know, you want a show, you got it.
All right, Brooke.
Do you remember? Never mind. When we go off.
Okay. Right? Like, they don't need to hear that. Maybe they shouldn't hear whatever we're about to say because, you know, got to keep jobs and whatnot.
Listen, thank you for watching. Please leave us comments. I always like to respond to the comments, and subscribe to my page, please. Also, subscribe to both our podcasts. Sean's podcast is
Zero as Given.
Yes, and my podcast is Controlling Our Narrative. You can find them on all podcast platforms. We've both been on each other's shows, and we like them. I think you would. Check them out.